Hello and welcome to today's video where we will talk about flow automation in Salesforce. My name is Christian Tieck. I am in the Salesforce team here at Scalefree, focused on CRM and integrations. If you have not watched any of our other videos on flows and are unfamiliar with flows, then I will reference the video down below for you where we have a starter guide. So what are flows, what you can do with them, what is the flow canvas, and what are flow elements. All those things will be covered in that video. Today, we will focus on schedule triggered flows and have a use case ready to show you how easy you can implement it, then build it out. And in the end, we will talk about the best practices you should keep in mind when building out your own schedule triggered flows. Let's jump right into Salesforce here. So, what are we really interested here? We are interested in two fields. Um, this is the stage and the close date. Because what we would like to do today is to check for our close date that is getting closer. So, because at the close date, we would like to have a written contract or have the contract signed by the customer so we can go ahead and do all our other stuff with the contract and, of course, get the money in the end. But when the close date gets closer, we would like to send a task out to our salespeople that they please should contact the customer again or give us a status update on the given opportunity. Of course, I could go into the system every day and check, this close date is in 3 days, because for reference, today is the 13th of December. In 3 days is the 16th, and this is the close date, but I don't have any status and it's in negotiation review stage. But a flow can help us here, and I'll show you now how it can do that. So we will go ahead and create a new flow. We will create a schedule triggered flow. In the schedule triggered flow, we will set our schedule first. So our schedule will look like this. It can run, let's say tomorrow morning will be the first time it runs, and it should run every day at 6 o'clock. You can set the frequency here to 1, so it will only run once and never again, but this is not what we want. We don't want to have it run weekly, because that is not our use case here. We want like to have it run daily, so that every day it runs and gives us the records that are due in 3 days time. Good. So we don't have to put anything in here for choosing the object, because we would like to use the get records element, and we would like to get all our opportunities. Say get opportunities. Now we have to filter our opportunities. Otherwise, we would get all of our opportunities every day and then filter later or something. We don't want to do this. We would like to have all the opportunities where the close date is equal to 3 days from now, so to the 16th. But how are we going to tell the system that? So we say the close date is equal to, and now we need a value. So the value would be the 16th of December. But this will only be viable for today. We have to put in a value here dynamically. And this is done by a new resource. We're going to need a new resource. This resource will be a formula. This formula will be three days from now. So there will be, as a data type, there will be, of course, a date. This date should be 3 days from now. And with a flow, you can easily achieve this. You have a global variable named flow. In there is the current date, so it gives you the date the flow runs at. So if we run it today, it will be the 13th. But we want to have the date in 3 days. So we say +3. So it will be the 16th. Always check the syntax, so it's valid. That's really good. So now we are getting all the opportunities that having a close date in 3 days, so on the 16th of December. But when I think about it, maybe there's an opportunity in our system where the close date is the 16th, but it's already won. So we already get the money and everything. Then I don't want to create a task for that. So I have to exclude it. How I'm going to do that? I say the stage name does not equal, should not be equal to, and then closed one, of course. And because you just saw it, we also have to do this for close lost opportunities again. Why? Because we don't want to have tasks on close lost opportunities where there's no money to gain. We don't have to invest any time there. And then how many records would you like to store? We would like to store all the records we can get. So because we don't want to create one task for one record and leave the rest, we want to get all of them. What are we going to do with all of those records? We will use a loop in here and say that our opportunities that we just got in our get opportunities element should go in here. And let's say loop oppies. So we loop all opportunities here. Now we could go ahead and say, okay, for each opportunity, of course, we want to create something and then put some data in here. But this is not the right way to do it. I'll show you later in the best practices why not. But we would go ahead and delete this. What we are going to do here is create placeholders, so variables. One variable will hold all our single information, so for each task, and the other variable will hold all our task as a collection. So let me go right ahead and create a new variable here, and we will name this variable single task. This will be our task variable here, and of course the object will be task. Right. Nice. So now we have a single task. What we can do with this is we can assign values to it. So we have a single task, and here you see all the fields that are in there. We don't need all of them, but we need some of them. So the account ID I would like to have in there. Then, of course, we need a subject. So because we have to put input into the subject, so our people that get the notification for the task know what to do. So a subject task. Then what else do we need? We need someone at the customer side, the name ID, who is the contact we should get in contact with. So this is this. Then we have the what. So what is this related to? This is related to the opportunity as the value. I'll show you in a little bit how we are going to put in the value. And then, of course, we have to assign someone to it so it's not lying around randomly in our system and nobody feels responsible for it. Okay, so how are we going to get all of this information? We get this information by accessing the current item from the loop, so the current opportunity that is in the loop. And first off, we looked at the account and we want the account ID. So account ID should be in there. What is the subject? For now, I will set the subject manually in here. Later, you could just do this dynamically as well. But we say, please get info from customer on OP. So yeah, please get the information from the customer on this opportunity and update us. Name ID. Who should we talk to at the customer? That's really important for us, of course. For that, we have a field on our opportunity called primary contact. And the primary contact, of course, has an ID. And this is the person we would like to contact then. If this field is filled in, of course. Related to. So what is this task related to? And again, we are going to look into our opportunity that we are currently on. And of course, it's this opportunity we would like to look at. So we say loop oppi, so the current opportunity in the loop, that ID we want. What is this assigned to? So who should do this task? So in our case, the opportunity owner is the responsible person for the opportunity. So we will go for the owner ID. This person is responsible. And then we say assign task values. All right. And now we have it in a single value. But now the problem is we override this single value every time. We will create now a new variable called tasks to create, which will allow us to have multiple inputs, which will be, of course, task again. So all these tasks. And we will use another assign and say that the new variable we just created, so all the tasks, should be in here. So in every loop, we will assign the single task we have and add it to our variable, to our collection. So add single task to collection. This is what we are going to do. All right. So now all our tasks are in this collection then we only have to create it. And what we are going to do here, we say create tasks. We want to create multiple ones. And from what record collection we want to create? From the task to create. All right. So now you also see why we shouldn't put this create statement in here, because for every loop, we would use one create statement. But we are limited to a certain amount of SOQL queries, and all the get records and create records and delete and update records are SQL queries in the backend. So now we are only using one here and one here, so two. Otherwise, we would use the the end opportunities times create as create statements. We don't want that. Okay, let's go ahead, save this as create tasks for late OPs, so that we get information on them. Let's save this. Because we can't wait until tomorrow at 6 in the morning, we will debug this. So in debug mode, there are two possibilities. We can say run flow in rollback mode. What that means is the flow will run as it should and then roll back any changes, and we can just see if it would have completed or not. This is what we are going to do first, because we want to see if it completes. Completes, really good. Now I would like to see something in the system, so I take it away and say we will run it without rollback. So now it should be in the system. We're going to jump into our opportunity now, where the close date is the 16th of December. So we should now see a new task here, which says, please get info from customer on OPI. This is the task we just created with the subject, with related to our opportunity, with a priority. No name here because we don't have anyone on the opportunity that is the primary contact here. But yeah, this is how this works. Let's jump back into our best practices now. So one of our best practices, you just saw that we handle bulk data. So this is the second point on the left side. So we handle bulk data and we try to optimize the flow simultaneously. So the optimize is on the left side on the top. And this is what we did in the first get records element, where we tried to cut down as many steps as we could to only get the records we really need. Then time dependency is really important here because it could be that you're in a different time zone from, let's say, we are in Europe here, but someone might be in Asia or North America, South America, Africa, or even Australia. And then, of course, time zones matter. And you have to say, okay, what is 6 o'clock in their time zone? Version control. So let's say I will update this flow. And when I update it, I can give a description and say, okay, I updated this, I added a feature, so that in reverse, after like 3-4 months, you already know, or you always know what you did in what flow and what flow could you use. And then one thing we didn't do today because we just hadn't have the time, error handling. You can use error handling in flows. It's really important nowadays because what happens if the flow, for whatever reason, fails? Nobody would know. Maybe some admin somewhere, but you need good error handling.